everybody, and welcome to How to Make Money with Seasonal Decorating. As you can tell, Joanne and I are so excited to share tips on how to make money with seasonal decorating. And there we are. Hi, Joanne.
Hi, Sandra. Delighted to be here.
So Joanne and I have been decorating. Gosh, Joanne, I was just thinking it's over 20 years together and having workshops and training programs and writing curriculum. So we love helping educate and answer questions you have. So this has always been top of the list, and especially at this time of year, that people want to know, first of all, they want some inspiration, but they want to know if they could make money because they love doing this. Or is it just going to be a hobby? So Joanne and I are here to kick it off and tell you just the ins and outs of adding this service. So first, let's talk about demand and profit potential. Um, it's really, I hate to say it, but at this point in our lives, and Joanne, you disagree with me if you want to, we really want to pick those things that line up with what our goals are. And if we do seasonal decorating as a service, we first of all want to know if there is a demand for it and what kind of profit potential is there. So luckily, there are a lot of benefits to seasonal decorating. It is additional revenue. And several years ago, we took a survey, and we've done it several times, asking professionals that were already in the business, whether it was staging or interior decorating, if they offered seasonal decorating, what percentage of their yearly income that they could contribute to seasonal decorating. And pretty much every time we took this survey, it was 25%. So that lets you know that there is a demand for it, even if you're offering other services. But when you can say this particular one offers 25% of that yearly income, that's huge. The plus about it is it can be a standalone service. And let's just back up to just a minute. When we think of seasonal decorating, it's just not for Christmas or this, that big seasons that we have, Hanukkah and Christmas, that block of time. I mean, there is spring, summer, fall, winter. There's even those seasons, but then you throw in there graduations or summer picnics. So what really happens is it straddles that fence of event planning. So if you just want to do seasonal decorating or events, then that could be a standalone. A lot of our students have already had a business, whether decorating or staging, and this is something they want to add on. So they already have kind of those clients, and now they have this exposure to a whole new service. Beauty too of this is, and as we all know that the holidays are stressful, or when you're throwing a party, you don't want to have to worry about, some clients don't want to worry about anything, the food, the decorations, the planning, the supervising. So that gives you that instant repeat client. Client perks. When I started doing seasonal decorating, I was still really busy with my decorating clients. But I did love it. And so I offered it as a service or a perk just for my existing clients. And what I learned was that my clients were like, it gave that extra special feeling, like that customized service that I was giving just to them. Um, Listen, and I'm sorry, seasonal decorating, for some of those reasons I just said, it's a super easy sell because people don't have time. Their life is hectic. They don't even know where to source a lot of things. So it's an easy sale, as well as you can specialize in specifics. It may be a certain time of year. It may be a certain type of decorating that you'll do. You may do everything from help them with invitations to the front door, to the back door, how you get your thank you gifts. So bottom line is this time of year is that you can offer seasonal decorating is all year long, and it can really be it makes you happy for your budget. Okay, so let's talk about the pros and the cons. So first of all, like I said, some of those repeat customers, and they tend to schedule in advance because they get very afraid that you are going to run out of time or you're not going to take on any more clients. The pros can also be as big or as little as you want to be involved. So if you say, hey, I am specializing in, let's just say Christmas trees, because that is one element that a lot of homeowners go, oh gosh, just thinking about putting lights or extra lights on can get overwhelming. So the project can be as big or as little as you want. People see value in this service. It's more physical than mental a lot of times. I mean, you are schlepping stuff in, you're also unloading inventory. So once you have an idea and you know some of the rules that we do teach in our certified seasonal decorating class, you'll know how many strands of light. So if your homeowner doesn't have that, then you automatically are going to have that list, and we cover all this. So it's, if you've taken any of our classes, Joanne and I love to have systems and forms so that it takes the guesswork out for you. And it's a high profit margin. Okay, so now let's talk about the cons. It is seasonal. If you decide that you only want to do specific ones, or let's say your area, your market really dictates the seasonal decorating is just, let's say a 4-week window, then you may have just a very limited time to make money. And if you want to disperse that throughout the year, then that's where some of your marketing and education for your clients will come in handy. Like I said, this limited window of time for you to get it done, and it could limit your clients. So if you have a specific salary or income in mind, then you're going to want to be sure that you figure out the way to budget that throughout. And it's not a recession-proof business. This is what I call a luxury item for a lot of people, because if, let's say, money is tight, and they may not feel that they are going to splurge on this. So these are just some of the cons to consider. Anything else, Joanne, I'm missing here?
No, I think this is good, and I love that you said, this can be a very physical business, and so that's one of the things you want to keep in mind, because physically it can be draining, and or you make sure that you have some good people with you that are not afraid to get a little tired and exert a little effort.
Right, especially climbing those, if you got a 12-foot, 14-foot tree.
Right, right.
So the other plus, and we think about demand and potential in your profit, is there are so many creative opportunities for you to touch, whether it's the tree, the mantle, the table, the wreath, the bow, the doors, chandeliers, and those unexpected places. I just popped this in because this was a creative opportunity that we hosted a workshop in a cupcake shop. And I thought it would be really cool for me to use what they had, or just things that I could pull together very quickly, because this really was a last minute thing too that we were doing. But, and you do know, if you've been decorating anything, sometimes when you're have a deadline of the clock, or you have a deadline or a limitation, I should say, with the budget, you do some of the most creative things. So I'll just share, this was nothing more than lifting up the glass on top of the round table. And I just laid out bags of peppermints. Again, you're going to take a minute, make sure they're laying flat. Otherwise, you're going to have crushed peppermints. But so yeah, there's a lot of creative opportunities, which will translate into profit. Okay, so there's a lot of numbers, but this is so important for us to look at the projected growth. basically in 2023, holiday retail sales just in the US were forecasted to reach $957.3 billion. And they are figuring that that is a conservative value. Basically look to it, 2002, excuse me, it was only 416. I can't believe I'm saying only 416 billion, but it's the growth that you are seeing from 2 to 23. So,
Right, more than doubled
really.
the growth. It's amazing.
So we love to share just what is the industry standard. So there's a lot of ways for you to price your services. So one of the easy ways and is a comfort zone for new seasonal decorators. Heck, I even still like to price by the hour because projects can change. I might give a range, but you can start from $50 to $150. And that's where the certification is important. Not only does it educate you to know how to effectively decorate and staging, I guess you'd say you're somewhat staging inventory and how to really approach the jobs, but that's when you start to be able to price more per hour. You have to also look at how quickly that you can complete a project, not just, the speed part of it, but have you honored what the client wanted, your experience. Joanne and I always say you can't penalize your clients for any learning curve or if you are moving a little bit slower in the beginning. And recruiting help, like we just kind of talked about, is so important. Now, you're also going to consider how much more money you need to tack on if you're charging by the hour, if whoever your assistants are that you're bringing. By the project, you can charge by the full day, by the half day. You also, too, you will get more efficient at trying to estimate how long, let's say, from the front door to the back door, and these three focus pieces that your areas that you're going to decorate, how long that's going to take you. And I do love to give a range. I am going to estimate, and my client is always Mary. I'm going to estimate, Mary, that this project, what we've decided after our client consultation, is going to take me anywhere from 7 to 10 hours. So if you give yourself that range, then the homeowner is not surprised, and you're going to make sure that you are in that range. The other beauty about seasonal decorating is that you also have this ability to make money on the product. Even if you are buying retail, you're going to be marking that up 20%. That is an industry standard. That's not you saying, oh gosh, how am I going to approach that? You're going to approach it right off the bat when you are having your consultation and how you price. You never want surprises. Your client really doesn't want a surprise. So you can mark those retail price product items up by 20%, plus you're charging for your time. And then if you have a way and have been in business, you know that shopping wholesale returns more in your pocket. That can be up to 50%. And as you get to know your clients in your area, this is where you can shop smart and stockpile or inventory some elements that you're going to need for any of your upcoming seasonal clients.
And Sandra, can I just make a point on that
Yes.
slide before we move on? I can't tell you how many people over the years, and I've been training since 1999, and how many people would tell me, I'm just going to buy retail and not mark it up because I don't want to worry about sales tax, or I'm not going to buy wholesale because I don't want to worry about sales tax. You are leaving so much money on the table. So, oh, forgive me. So do not hesitate to file for your sales tax number. And depending on the volume you're doing or the state you are living in, you're going to have to file with your state and submit those collected taxes every month to quarter, depending on your particular situation. But don't let, you know, 20 minutes to an hour of paperwork keep you from putting extra money in your pocket.
That's such a good point. It really will only take one time, one probably at the end of the month for you to realize how much more you made. The other thing too, and I'm glad you said that, Joanne, is that you get unique product when you are shopping wholesale. It's
Mhm.
not just what, and listen, I am not knocking Hobby Lobby or Michael's or Home Goods because there are a lot of amazing products there. But when you start shopping wholesale, you're bringing things to clients that their neighbors don't have.
Right. So let's talk about how to get started. Whether you were adding this business to your existing business, this is an additional service, or if you are going to start a business that only offers seasonal and holiday decorating, begin by understanding that your home is your lab. I have created many beauties and many chaoses in my own home. I would have a brainstorm and I'd think, okay, I'm going to try this out before I tried at my clients. And some of them have been huge successes. But for those of you that have been around any length of time, you know some of my failures, such as, leaving paint on my first husband's posterior because I decided to paint a toilet with red epoxy paint, or and that was back in my young years. But you know use your home as your lab, experiment. And while you are thinking about your home, I also want you to be careful about letting your home's personality permeate every job that you do. Remember, if you offer this service, you are decorating for that client and their style. So you may love what you do, and there have been jobs over the years that I knew were good design, whether it was, a regular design service or holiday decorating, but I captured their personality. Start showing them what you've got. If you're going to be offering this service while you're taking the seasonal decorating class, start posting now. Do not wait until you've completed the task. Start posting now with ideas, things that you've done in your own home. And as Sandra said, keep in mind that seasonal and holiday decorating does not just mean October, November, December. I have many, many clients for many years when I was specializing in residential design, that I would go back every quarter to change their house out for that new season. We might flip out a rug, put slip covers on the sofa, change out the lampshades. It wasn't that we were decorating in the true sense of using fall leaves, but we would create subtle changes in the room that kind of welcomed a new season. So post those ideas on your social media. So now when you say, hey, I'm offering this new service, or we've added this service to our business, they already get that you have that talent. As Sandra talked about, finding resources and vendors, and those resources are not only going to be the products or the decor elements that you will use, but they're also going to be the people that will do the lighting on the outside of the building, because you are not climbing that ladder, no way, shape, or form. You're locally here, there is a business called Dawn's Grazing Station. She does the most beautiful charcuterie boards and special events. She's a person that I would refer often. And the beauty of those kind of people is they're going to refer business back to you. And you can decide, you can either talk to them about referring and you get a little uh, piece of the pie when they do that, or you just make it a win-win situation where you're each recommending one another. If you are looking to add to your decor elements, think about attending a show in early in the year, January, February, March. There are a number of wholesale shows, Atlanta, Texas, Las Vegas, that focus on holiday decor, ribbon, and everything. And you can go in January, order things that you want, and they won't even ship them to you until the holiday season of Christmas, if that's what your focus is going to be. Turn on your creativity. Look at, looking at Pinterest again, experimenting in your home. What happens if I make a bow with 3 different kind of ribbons? What does it look like? What happens if I place this mantle arrangement asymmetrically instead of symmetrically? Be creative. You want people to say, my favorite phrase in the world, I never would have thought of that, because that's going to get you more business. And I encourage you to take Sandra's seasonal decorating certification class as well.
Joanne, I had to think too, and you said show them what you've got. I think it was my second seasonal decorating client I got because I had a girls' night and it was a cabbie fashion show. And I'm sure probably anybody listening has had to have one of those. But but I thought, well, I set the table and I set the stage, so to speak, with their colors. And by the time I really wasn't thinking about getting a seasonal decorating client, but it kind of like your creativity will translate into them trusting you to come up with really good ideas.
Yes. And make sure, I mentioned this on the last slide, but get to know your client. We've created a interior decorating intakes sheet that we use for our clients on a regular basis, but do that also on a seasonal basis. Do they like things to be whimsical or very traditional? Get to know who they are. And some of your clients may just say, have fun with this. Do whatever. I want people talking about it, but the more you can try to fit into who they are so that they're delighted, the better. So this form is one of the many forms. Here are a few of our vendors that Sandra and I really like. K&K Interiors. They're a wholesale company. They're located in Ohio. They show at all of the major markets. If you do not have the budget or the time to go to one of the major markets, which I encourage you to do so because it's such an education, but simply go online and look for K&K Interiors and order their catalog. Sullivan and Silvestri are 2 lines that are going to have a variety of containers, botanicals, garlands, greens, trees, ribbons, anything that you need in that vein. Again, they're wholesale. So when you buy from them, you're going to have to meet a certain minimum, and then you're going to mark up whatever you get to them anywhere from 2 to 3 times. It's what your market will bear. As I said, those local tradespeople that you want to connect to. And some of it may be even something like 2 men in a truck. Like I currently am organizing, as I have done for the last 4 or 5 of them, a holiday house tour for our historical society. And what I often hear from clients is, I don't mind decorating, but I can't carry things down from my attic anymore. So when you're building those resources, think of the people that can just help you to get your job done more effectively. And Sandra has more resources and vendors in her seasonal decorating class.
We really do have a long list of them so that you don't have to go search for them. But isn't this a perfect example, everybody, of how you can take a season over the top for your client? Now, granted, this is K&K showroom, so they want you to really see everything, but just the uniqueness of the tulips hanging upside down over the chandelier, or it could be a bird cage type setup, but that's just a perfect example how the seasons can make you profit. So finding inspiration, Joanne and I do get this question a lot, like, oh, am I gonna have enough ideas? And listen, they are out there. You've got Pinterest, you've got Facebook, HGTV. I always just set the recorder to record certain shows, house, seasonal shows, trade magazines, I mean, luckily, a lot of my dentist has some of the best best decorating magazines too. I will always flip through it, even though some of the ideas I may not even consider, but just being aware of what's in front of you to peruse. Any special publications that are out there, holiday house tours, like Joanne was saying, they have one in her area. And just house tours in general, you will get a lot of good ideas. And let the experts kind of guide you in case you're wondering who we're referring to. It's us. So here's just a few out of the box ideas. I love this one on the left. One of our students sent this to us. This is two sets of shutter. This is a set of shutters and how they have gotten turned in to the nutcrackers. How creative, some paint and a different element here and there. On the right, this is a friend of Joanne and mine, and she just, as she said, she coveted these decorations, these red balls that you see, and she used them in very unique ways every year. And this year they were on the front door. Another year she had them in the planters and inside hanging from the chandelier, I think was one year. But what is really cool about this is I have seen this translated. You can use beach balls that you spray and anchor them in the planters. Even the kids, the bouncy balls, I know you've seen them where you hold one in with a big rubber band and you bounce them. Those, I've seen those sprayed silver. So you can translate some even expensive decor items and bring those to your clients on a budget. Here's a few more. I love the one on the left. I mean, again, think about your client, think about your space, your budget, their style. But how cool is this? This is just the metal star that we've all seen, but this collection of the homeowners' hats that kind of made the tree effect. And then you have the old, what are they called? The little individual drawer boxes. Joanne, I can't remember what they're called all of a sudden. Anyway, so cute. This in the middle is a tomato plant cage turned upside down and even loosely decorated. You didn't even have to fill up every square inch of it because that kind of made this whole effect feel unique so you could see what it was built out of. And on the right, I mean, can't you just see your clients just moving into a house, but let's get you a tree up. You don't even know where the decorations are.
Right.
I know, isn't that cute?
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's adorable. Hey, I want to talk a little bit about the tomato cage idea too, the inspiration. I had my husband, when I did the last holiday house tour in 2022, we wanted something very unique and organic. So my husband built me a tripod just from lumber. It, was done with, I think, 2x2s. And then we wrapped it in chicken wire, and it stood about 6 feet tall. And we then went out in the country and gathered ornamental grasses. We primarily use pampas grass, and no matter where you live, there is some type of ornamental grass that looks very tight, and as it dries it kind of blows out into this beautiful fluffy, feathery looking product. And we created a tree using the pampas grass, sprayed it down well with hairspray when we were all done to prevent some shedding. And it made such an interesting look. And of course, the fact that we went really big. So think of something that has that tree shape to it, like Sandra has shown you here, and how you can take it to the next level.
And isn't this adorable? Okay. Using some really fun, colorful ribbon. I love the graduating color of the ornaments that are going up, and then topping it off with this amazing bow. Just so unique, so different. And I mean, and it could be something that this homeowner had. I mean, how many of us don't have a collection of the silver or the gold? And it may just be this is the year they want to add the pink balls to the tree. So just unique and different. And then we love the one on the right to show you just a bicycle sprayed, lighting up the presents, going, like they're driving to the neighbor's house to deliver the presents, and the Santa hat. And then we were talking too, how easy this would be to also, with another fresh coat of paint, make this cute and different and unique for another season. My mother fell in love, one of the, well, Aria in Las Vegas had bicycles hanging from the tree. So she took that inspiration moment and went home and just found a collection, sprayed them each a different color, and had them throughout her yard. So again, translating it to a season.
So let's talk about a few design guidelines, and that's always the difference between many a DIY project and something that has a little more polish to it. And that's important if you're a professional and you're offering a professional holiday design or seasonal decorating or traditional interior decorating. It's kind of understanding those guidelines. And it also helps you just in organizing a job. So when it comes to like kind of a best practices is um a one string of lights, 100 lights for every foot of tree size. So if I have a 6-foot tree, then I'm going to need 600 lights to go on that tree. The other thing that I think when it comes to lights is keep in mind, we went very pure for a lot of years, and we went from those big bulbs and then we transitioned to the small bulbs. You decide if you're make sure your client tells you, are they a white light or a colored light person? Because that's an important part of the process. But in today's world, to give it a little more polish and interest with lighting, mix up light sizes, the bulbs in different sizes. Also, when it comes to tree decor items, you need about 20 per foot of tree. So if you're decorating all the way around the tree and you say, how many ornaments or fillers or branches do I need to put in this tree? About 20 to go all the way around the tree for each foot of the tree size. So again, I have a 6-foot tree. I need 120 decor items to make a very full polished tree. Now, if your client's a minimalist, you're not going to mean that, but if you want or need that, but if you want a tree that people walk away talking about, this is a good rule of thumb. To make a really luscious bow, particularly for a top of a tree, you want a 5-yard ribbon. And I love it when you mix different patterns of ribbons in that um, in that bow to make it more interesting and more custom looking. If you don't know how to make a bow, that's one of the first things you need to do, because everything looks better with the bow on it. And there are a lot of ways. I did holiday decorating seminars for 20 years in a row. When I started my business, a big part of my marketing was doing community seminars. And I had retail stores through much of my first 20 years in business. So I would do special events all the time. I did holiday decorating seminars for 20 years, and it always began with people coming in and sitting down. There would be 3 yards of ribbon sitting on their seat because we were making smaller bows, and we would do a bow lesson. And I remember one sweet lady who was a wonderful client of mine came for just about every one of my 20 years of holiday decorating, and she still couldn't master it at the end. And as I said to her, thank you, because it gives me job security. So if you don't know how to make a florist bow yet, or a professional looking bow, go to YouTube. There's a few different styles. My girlfriend and I build mine from the bottom up. She builds hers from the top down. There isn't a right or wrong. It's whatever way works best for you. Remember again, decorate for the client and not yourself. You know, if someone says, oh, Joanne did this job, I know I didn't do a very good job. And think of different things to keep the eye moving around the room. For example, if you're doing a mantle, instead of doing symmetry, unless your client is more comfortable with that, do something asymmetrical with high on the left and low on the right on that mantle. And that will simply keep the eye moving around the space. And I am a huge proponent of what I call pretty pockets of interest. So as you're decorating a space, everything does not have to be the star. It's like watching a great play. We got the star, we have the co-star, and we have the supporting cast. Pretty pockets are those areas that when you sit down at the end of the evening and you're exhausted and you put your feet up and you look over at this one corner of your room and you go, oh, doesn't that look pretty? Doesn't the lamplight look pretty? Doesn't the Christmas tree? Those are pretty pockets. Pretty pockets that just make your eyes smile when you look at them. So building pretty pockets throughout your room is important.
Okay, so what is next? If you are interested in adding seasonal decorating to your services or you want to put it on, check out our website. We have learned seasonal decorating, and there are some links there. There is some bonuses that you'll see, and it will help give you that confidence and just the ability for you to start making money. In fact, Joanne, that was a great point about the bows. Not only do we cover, I don't know how many, at least 5 to 6 bows, different ones, but those, the material that you need to make them and everything, there's 10 modules, you get handouts, you get forms, you get a bonus or two, you get listed on the Decorating and Staging Academy directory. But most importantly, we want to help you know everything there is to know about seasonal decorating to help you make money. So check us out. There's our phone number, our email. Ask us questions and let us know any way that Joanne and I could help you. Anything else, Joanne, you want to add?
No, just like I said, if you're looking for a fun and frantic way, particularly during this last holiday season of the year, it is a great way to make extra money. You'll probably come home and not want to decorate your own space because you're too tired to. But as Sandra said, for me, it was 20 to 25% of my annual income between holiday decorating, particularly during the Christmas season, and my seasonal decorating clients that I serviced throughout the rest of the year. So earn your certification. And Sandra, I think you had the price on the slide right before
Yes.
this.
Yes, it is
If we can look at
$2.99.
that.
$2.99.
Oh, okay. All right. So for $2.99, you're going to get a wealth of information. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. We're here to help you succeed.
Thank you.